Dirt Rally 2.0 is a first-rate return to the more serious side of Codemasters' off-road catalogue. It may be hot on the heels of Dirt 4, with a couple of tricks pulled from its friendlier stablemate, but make no mistake, Dirt Rally 2.0 reasserts this spin-off series' reputation as the premier rally simulator of the modern era. Dirt Rally 2.0 is designed primarily for hard-boiled rally enthusiasts and returning fans, so new players may struggle initially. While the original Dirt Rally was eventually augmented with a pile of tutorial videos, and Dirt 4 features a fully fledged Dirt Academy training mode, there's none of that here in Dirt Rally 2.0. It's a case of learn on the job or perish.
32.
For players who were turned off by the first game's ruthless AI, Dirt Rally 2.0 features a difficulty slider similar to the F1 series, rather than the several AI presets included in the first game. At its weakest, the AI in Dirt Rally 2.0 can be soundly trounced even after making a big error or two, so the barrier for success has been lowered a bit. At normal difficulty levels and higher, however, it can be tough to top a timesheet after even a single mistake. Dirt Rally's reputation as Dark Souls on gravel remains intact. Failing to make the jump from Dirt 4 is the procedurally generated stage system, Your Stage, which I still think has a lot of promise. Dirt Rally 2.0 opts for handcrafted stages like the first Dirt Rally. The gain with stages touched by artists rather than algorithms is that they do have noticeably more character, and being bespoke, there are numerous little idiosyncrasies and unique elements that you wouldn't necessarily get from a computer stitching together a bunch of tweaked track tiles. It also means stages that more closely resemble actual rally locations. The downside, of course, is that sticking with pre-made stages means we're back to having just a couple of long stages per location, chopped up into segments to run forwards and backwards. Running repeatedly over the same ribbons of road quickly becomes sapping. To its credit, Dirt Rally 2.0 stages are the best looking in the series to date, especially in the wet, and Codemasters has added surface degradation to them, which adds an extra dimension to tackling particular stages, especially in Argentina and Australia. The further down the running order you start, all the way down to 150th, the more rutted and churned up the track surface will be. Thick grooves of gravel will tug tyres to and fro, and I really had to fight to keep my car pointed in a straight line on a heavily disturbed surface with grip at a premium. I played on Xbox One X with a Thrustmaster TSXW racing wheel and on PS4 Pro with a pad, and the game is well suited to both. I quickened up my steering settings with the wheel because it felt a bit sluggish by default, but changed nothing on the pad. Dirt Rally 2.0's driving dynamics are a delight, and it feels like low-speed handling has improved. It seems easier to deliberately break traction on loose surfaces at slower speeds than before, allowing me to better rotate certain cars on the throttle. A huge highlight is the new RGT Class, particularly with the original Dirt Rally's rear-wheel drive Group B cars absent from this sequel. In real life, RGT is a tarmac-based cup for production GT cars, but Dirt Rally 2.0 unleashes these beasts on mud and gravel. At first glance, it may seem a little absurd to tackle loose surface rallies in high-horsepower rear-wheel drive V8s, but in practice, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Throttle control is key here. With the right amount of beans, only small steering inputs are necessary to negotiate corners. It's a delicate dance. Oh, and they sound fantastic. The audio elsewhere is typically brilliant, from the pops and farts and belches of engines running rich to the wheel noise and kick up as you careen over all the different surfaces, though I did crank the ladder up a bit from its default level. Veteran co-driver Phil Mills's pace notes are clear and robust.
Opens of a crest, 30.
Though his post-race banter needs a bit of work.
That felt good, but let's check the times.
We came last, Phil. We crashed 3 times back there. We literally crashed into the finish line. Career mode is similar to the original Dirt Rally, tasking players with building a garage and a team, and for some reason you'll need to be online to access it. I understand why being online is a requirement to access the daily and weekly asynchronous challenges against other Dirt players, but why single player progression is tied to it isn't clear. This could be a problem if connectivity is an issue. Career mode is a bit stingy with cash, but there's also a collection of standalone championships you can dive straight into, like a driver for hire, which is a decent concession to those with less time to grind and micromanage. The official World RX series is included here to immediately dive into also. 8 tracks are featured, and Catalunya, Silverstone and Metet make their debut here. Dirt Rally 2.0 feels great, looks good and sounds fabulous. It doesn't take long until you're redoing the same stages over and over, and career mode is a little plain, but Dirt Rally 2.0 is a confident rally racer for serious rev heads. Stern, focused, and harder than a woodpecker's lips, it's as tricky to tame as its predecessor, but doing so is as satisfying as ever. For more Codemasters car capers, check out IGN's previous verdicts on Dirt 4 and F1 2018.